In headlines, the incoming chairman, Ralph Gonsalves, says CARICOM will not tolerate the stealing of an election.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines stands firmly for democracy and reflecting the will of the people. So that will tell you where we are. I don't have to say anything more.
Attorney Anil Nanlal withdraws contempt case against Clement Mingo but receives severe reprimand from the Chief Justice. Berbice and Lusignan families are counting millions of dollars in losses after separate fires destroy their businesses, and Enmore families brutalized by ranks of the Guyana Police Force. And in sport, selection template developed by West Indies selectors and scouts, says Harper. With the news, I'm Avenash Ramzan. Good evening and thank you for joining us. We start off by telling you that the Caribbean community, CARICOM, is likely to take a tough stance against any of its member states which attempt to commit electoral fraud, the group's incoming chairman, Ralph Gonsalves, has said, urging that the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, declare the winner of the March 2 elections as shown by the national vote recount. Gonsalves, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, on Wednesday made it clear that CARICOM will not tolerate the stealing of an election. He spoke on a radio program in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
When I went to Guyana with CARICOM, I said it then and I've said it subsequently. And I said it in the presence of all our CARICOM leaders who went on that visit, and also with my friend David Granger, the president. And when we met Granger and Barrett Jagdeo together, and Jagdeo is also my friend, I said it then. An election stripped of all the regulations here and there. There are three separate though connected elements to an election. What happens before the election day? That's process of registration, putting the machinery in place for elections, for free and fair elections. Secondly, what happens on election day? And there had been no complaints about those two processes. Nobody said it's a sham election or that irregularities or such as to undermine the efficacy of the poll. The third question, which was outstanding, is the counting of the votes. That's why in the first statement that Mia Motley made as chair of CARICOM, she said that each vote must be counted. Each vote has to be counted. Well, this is where you had the basis for the recount. And the reason why it's an election and not a selection, you have to count the votes. And you have to count them honestly. Now, I am satisfied that CARICOM will not stand by idly and watch the recount which is properly done for the results to be set aside. We expect the CARICOM Observer Mission to deliver its report, and we expect that what is the recount would be honored, and the Guyana Election Commission will honor that recount and declare the winner in accordance with this recount. And anybody who then wants to challenge anything afterwards can go to court. But you have to declare the winner in accordance with the recount. St. Vincent and the Grenadines stands firmly for democracy and reflecting the will of the people. So that will tell you where we are. I don't have to say anything more. I am straight and plain. CARICOM is not going to tolerate anybody stealing any election. I know a lot of opposition parties when they lose, or anybody who loses, they say, oh, so-and-so thief, so-and-so this. Now, it's almost a boring repetition. We get the reports, follow the law, and who wins, wins. when you take part in an election, there's always a chance that you may lose. And if you lose, as Sir Louis said, you take your licks like a man.
Gonzalez will assume chairmanship of the 15-nation regional trade and integration bloc next month. The national recount, which ended on Monday, shows a victory for the opposition People's Progressive Party by more than 15,000 votes. Meanwhile, the incumbent APNU AFC, in response to Gonzalez, accused him of taking a prejudicial stance on Guyana's elections. The party's position was made known via a statement posted to its official Facebook page and that of its campaign manager, Joseph Harmon, on Thursday. The party contended too that Gonzalez, quote, has taken a public position that is prejudicial to the integrity of the process and its eventual outcome, end quote. This, according to the coalition, is because the recount process is only in its second of 4 stages, and therefore any pronouncement on it would be premature. And the High Court on Thursday imposed cost of 450,000 Guyana dollars against the estate of Riaz Holidar after the attorney-at-law Anil Nandlal applied and was granted permission by the High Court to withdraw contempt of court proceedings filed against the chairperson of the Guyana Elections Commission, Justice Retired Claudette Singh, Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield, and District 4 Returning Officer Claremont Mingo, and others. Fariza Hanif reports.
A livid Chief Justice Roxanne George said attorney Anil Nandlal had wasted the court's time when he knew from the get-go that he had thin evidence to back his case. Nandlal, thanks to reasoning from his attorney Devendra Kisoon, averted costs be levied against him personally. Nandlal admitted that relevant and probative evidence was not available at the time of the application and begged for the court's mercy. Attorney Neil Boston, who appeared for the GCOB chairman Justice Retired Claudette Singh, the Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield, and Region 4 Returning Officer Claremont Mingo, argued that Nandlal had made damning allegations that the GCOB chairman and 3 commissioners, Vincent Alexander, Charles Corbin, and Donald Trotman, instructed Mingo to disregard the March 11 order of the court, which had ruled that Mingo needed to display statements of poll from the March 2nd elections so that all parties could see. Mingo, political parties had stated, disregarded the Chief Justice's order. The European Union Observer Mission also made that contention in its final report submitted last week. But there was no way for Nandlal to prove that in doing so, Mingo acted on the instructions of the GCOM chairman, the Chief Elections Officer, or the 3 GCOM commissioners. The application was filed by Riaz Holidar on March 12, but Holidar subsequently died. He was substituted by Padmini Bairo on April 7th. The Chief Justice noted that she had repeatedly asked Nandlal if he was proceeding with the case, and he indicated in the affirmative. And so she had gone ahead and done all the work, even preparing a judgment to be read out Thursday. And so while she accepted the notice to withdraw the case, she pointed out that contempt proceedings are not ordinary cases that commit persons to jail, and hence her strong reprimand of Nandlal. Attorney Boston had argued that Nandlal couldn't have brought the case this far knowing he hadn't the evidence and then seek to go through a side door without having the court to rule on the issue, and wanted the Chief Justice to proceed with her ruling. The Chief Justice pointed out that the evidence from Nandlal was very, very deficient, and it was very distressing to her that he would file a notice for withdrawal at this stage. But after the severe reprimand of Nandlal, she did agree to accept the notice of withdrawal and did not proceed with her judgment. She granted costs of 150,000 Guyana dollars each to the GCOM chairman, the Chief Elections Officer, and Mingo. Reporting for the newsroom, Fariza Hanif.
And the United States Embassy here in Georgetown has issued a security alert to its citizens ahead of the declaration of the March 2020 general and regional elections here. According to the notice posted on the U.S. Embassy website, security and law enforcement will likely have an increased presence before and after the announcement of the election's results in the coming weeks, and it is possible that large crowds could gather at government venues. U.S. government personnel have been advised to take precautions to prepare for any unexpected disruptions to their normal routine. It encouraged U.S. citizens to avoid large gatherings and demonstrations, as even peaceful demonstrations may quickly turn violent. The APNU AFC government says it is unable to bail out the Guyana Sugar Corporation, Gaisuco, which is on the brink of collapse and unsure of how it will survive the second week of June. The government officially responded to Gaisuco's request for a bailout on Wednesday and made it clear that the National Treasury is incapable of doing so at this time. The Ministry of Finance in a statement said, and I quote, "The prevailing national circumstances, coupled with the challenges of COVID-19 and a reduced national income, render the Treasury incapable of providing a bailout to Gaisuco," end quote. According to the statement, the government is looking to access other funds available to the entity to help mitigate its present challenges. The ministry alluded to $1.5 billion, which will be paid to the National Industrial Commercial Investments Limited, NISL, when the vesting orders are signed and gazetted for former sugar estate lands sold by the entity in early 2020. It suggested that this money can be used to alleviate some of the financial woes of Gaisuco. Still ahead on the newsroom, Berbice and Lusignan families are counting millions of dollars in losses after separate fires destroy their businesses and an Enmore families brutalized by ranks of the Guyana Police Force. Back, this is the newsroom. A Lusignan businessman has lost millions of dollars after a fire on Thursday morning gutted his auto body workshop and damaged at least 9 vehicles he was working on at the time. Bibi Katoon reports.
The popular Chevo Auto Body Workshop at Dentist Street, Lusignan, East Coast, Demerara, was burned to the ground before firefighters arrived, leaving millions of dollars in losses, including about 9 vehicles which were parked in the yard. The newsroom spoke with the owner, Shiv Lashman, who said he has no insurance to cover the cost of the damages.
I went to Enmore to collect a part to fix one of the vehicles inside there, and then by scan on the phone, the place is on fire. Within the space of half an hour, the space like this. It's a wooden building. It's a small wooden building with shed around it. Not a big fancy building. No insurance, nothing.
Any idea what may have caused it?
No, I have no idea. I wish I could tell.
Workshop staff managed to save 3 vehicles, but the rapidly spreading fire and accompanying intense heat prevented them from saving the others. A neighbor told the newsroom that he saw smoke emanating from the building and sounded an alarm. However, he said in minutes the building was completely destroyed. The newsroom also spoke with another neighbor who said he was initially told that his house was on fire, but thanked the Guyana Fire Service for saving his property.
I left home about 8 o'clock this morning, right? And I was in town to look after some business. And about 9 o'clock, my son gave me a call that he understand the house on fire. So I just canceled business, and he was in town too, and we followed up. And when we come, we see the whole workshop. But I saved the fire brigade people, them save the house.
The Guyana Fire Service has launched an investigation to determine the cause of the fire. Bibi Katoon, Newsroom.
And a fire of unknown origin ripped through a 5-bedroom wooden and concrete structure that housed a grocery shop at Port Moran, Berbice, leaving in its wake approximately $22 million in damages on Thursday. Bibi Katoon joins us again.
The fire started at around 12:30 hours on Thursday in the upper flat of the house located at Lot 279, Anchorville, Port Moran, Berbice. A shop was located in the lower flat of the building, while the family of 5 reside in the upper flat. Businesswoman and owner of the house, Tejpati John Doe, was barely able to engage the media as she fought to hold back tears after witnessing the destruction of her home. According to John Doe, she lived there with her husband and 3 children who were all in the lower flat of the house at the time of the fire. She recalled hearing popping sound in the upper flat of the building and was greeted with what she described as a large ball of fire in the hallway. The businesswoman told the newsroom that the fire service took a while to respond, and when they did, firefighters were unable to extinguish the blaze because of mechanical issues encountered by the fire trucks. As such, residents and family members formed the bucket brigade and quickly went into action and managed to save 2 neighboring houses. Residents at the scene expressed disappointment with the fire service.
And we call the fire brigade. They're asking me, where is Bob John? I want to know if we get 2 Bob John in this quarantine. They were asking me where Bob John, vexed with me. But I don't know who talked to me. They will stop this building from halfway.
When they come, they take about half an hour to set up. There was no water for the people downstairs. There were no water for the people downstairs. The service started at 1 hour and it can't start. And the more people in the house flamed down.
The neighbors and then everybody started coming because fire truck took too long to come because the whole house was in fire already. Actually, the whole cabin actually burned so far long. Then I had to start to stove this house house next to me live and the neighbor house because the fire been too plenty that the fire truck not come at this side.
The family only managed to save a sofa from the house and is now contemplating their next move. They are puzzled over what may have caused the fire since the house was powered by solar. Bibi Katoon, Newsroom.
We tell you now that the Guyana Police Force is once again being accused of brutality, this time for beating an Enmore East Coast Demerara family, including a female, following reports that they were playing loud music. The disturbing incident was caught on camera by neighbors on Tuesday and shows the police beating, slapping and dragging the family to the force's vehicle. The distraught and traumatized family spoke with the newsroom on Thursday. We advise that scenes from this video may be traumatic for some of our viewers.
6 siblings from Grassfield and more on the east coast of Demerara are calling for justice after they were brutalized by ranks of the Enmore police station. The incident occurred on Tuesday this week in full view of neighbors who managed to record the incident on their phones. One of the siblings spoke with the newsroom but asked that his identity is protected. He explained that about 15 hours 30 on Tuesday, he came home to find police officers at the house.
Tuesday I go. Me come on the house at the back there. When me go, me call me see 3 police officers in the front. When me call me talk, she me say, "Ma, where is the problem?" She said she want a car. She want a car and she want a man to drive. So me say, "Ma, me don't know where like me just come here, sir." So he said, "Man, me said this man dey inside here was asleep or something." So he said, "Wake up the man." So me say, "Wake up the man and the man asleep. How me go drive the car?" He said, "You drive the car. Me go drive the car on the station. Me can't drive."
So the car went?
The car park here. Right? Anyway, by the time me start to night and so, me no problem. By the time the song Arab police roll up, come up, then start coming brutalization. Me other sister she go out on the video. One the police them text she in the vehicle and take with the phone. Me take with the phone and go the back there. One of them stamp me down. You understand? Me no want your video. Anyway, they broke this window here, sir. Go in, jog up my body pan there. And jog up my body pan there. Go outside and shy him in the vehicle. When I killed my sister, start beat them. Killed my sister over there. And they killed my sister, start beat my sister. They one police officer them fall along with she. And she hunch her face or she hear the pile of car, they pick it there. You understand? When you're done, me and them don't have no problem or nothing. I just be nice, just for them, and me don't want to go to. Because you don't see like you're right there.
He further explained that after his other siblings were arrested and taken to the Enmore police station, he took water for them and in a surprising twist, he was also arrested. The brothers were then taken to the Vigilance police station and the sisters were taken to the Bettervoacton police station where they were put behind bars and placed on 20,000 bail each. They spent one night in police lockups. The siblings remain in the dark as to why they were arrested and are also scheduled to appear in court next week.
Then I come tell me not when I come arrest when I come to some music. When I come there no music I play.
So you had no music to play?
No music, and the music I play early.
Early in the day?
Yeah. And this thing happened just like about 3 o'clock, 3 something.
And I hear they tell you also no curfew?
Then I nothing but curfew and so. You never reach curfew time for that? Curfew time is at 6 o'clock. Or I said this about 3 to 3 o'clock time this thing happened. When the car come or the sergeant, she said she come for this car and the man who drive this car. So I said, "Why go get the man inside here asleep, the man in the hammock inside here." You understand? They start rocking door, they can't get the man. Then got through inside there, wake up the man, open the bolt and drag the man up here.
So that's where exactly they want to go?
Then I said, they want the car and they want the car and the man. That the man will play music.
Meanwhile, another relative who also prefers to remain anonymous said the 2 sisters who were arrested were further brutalized while in police custody. One of them is a mother of 3 children and the other recently underwent surgery.
Yeah, the 2 girls when me go see them at the station, the girl vomit and the police lady kicked the second one. And this another one too long she do operation. And this 2 kind of she do the operation and hot she bad and she vomit and she not able to move. So me don't know what I can do to this.
Another relative expressed his deep frustration with police brutality.
Any time a police officer come, any police officer come for arrest anybody and to get a warrant and then come straight to them people in this, break down this gate, break down this window, here and come arrest and no police and to now can come with a warrant for sure, say, arrest somebody with a warrant. Male police will beat female, and that thing is supposed to be happen. Here? And watch how my stepdaughter, how they beat you with two policemen. Men will beat you.
When contacted by the newsroom, Regional Commander Assistant Commissioner Royston Andres Jr. said he was not aware of the incident, but said that he will investigate. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Isanela Pato.
The commander subsequently contacted newsroom and revealed that the family was issued a warning by the police to desist from playing loud music. Later, while patrolling in the area, the ranks heard the music and upon investigating, found the family consuming alcohol. The commander said that the family attacked the police ranks first. Guyana on Thursday recorded 2 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total number of cases to 158. The Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Shamdi Posot, provided Thursday's update.
Of the 44 tests done, there have been 2 new cases. The number of confirmed cases is now 158, and our COVID-19 deaths remain at 12. To date, the total number of persons tested is 1,920, with the number of negative cases being 1,762. Currently, 92 persons have recovered. 54 active cases are in institutional isolation. 1 patient is in the COVID ICU, and 22 persons are in institutional quarantine. Today, I would like to focus on parents and guardians of children in grade 6 who will be returning to school on Monday, June the 15th, 2020 to prepare for the National Grade 6 Assessment scheduled for July 1st and 2nd, 2020. Parents, I wish to remind you that you must have the conversation with your young ones about the health guidelines that must be followed during the time they will be at school so that they can be safe from contracting the coronavirus disease. Let us begin with the use of masks. Please show them step by step how to put on the mask and to wear it appropriately. Remind them not to touch the front of the mask and to use the straps to remove it when taking a snack. So let them take a plastic or a Ziploc bag and place the mask there until after eating. Remind them to wash hands properly, and as soon as they have finished, to put on the mask again. Parents, you can give them an extra mask just in case the one they are wearing falls or becomes soiled. Remind them to wash hands after using the restroom and not to play around that area, but to return immediately to their classroom.
Welcome back. This is the newsroom. A 40-year-old Barbadian businesswoman who traveled to Guyana since January 22, 2020, remains stranded here as Guyana's airports are closed to curb the spread of the deadly COVID-19 disease. Isnel Patwa reports.
Sabrania Sargent is also a Guyanese citizen by birth and has been trying to get back to her family, especially since schools have reopened in Barbados and she is not there to take care of her children ages 7 and 14. The children are being cared for by their father, and as a result, he is unable to work. Sargent, during an interview with the newsroom on Thursday, said she traveled to Guyana to conduct business.
I have been here since January 22nd. I was here on a one-way ticket. I was here trying to get some stuff done because I was looking around to get business done to go back home to my family. But due to the fact I am here, I have not returned since. I'm trying to get back to my family because, you know, I left them behind and it's just the father over there taking care of them, and work and school is now closed and school is going to be open. I'm trying to get back to my family.
She explained that she had planned to return in February but did not complete wrapping up her business arrangements on time when Guyana closed its airports on March 17th. Sargent is involved in the business of making furniture in Barbados and came to Guyana to expand her business. She has been living in Barbados for the past 15 years. She is staying with relatives at Lenora, West Coast, Demerara.
What I'm seeking is trying to get back home to my family because I'm here since January, and I was told that I'm getting back home this month, next month, and I have not getting any help to get back home to my family. I'm just trying to get back to my family home, and I would like to get back to them. Because it's not an easy thing to leave your kids and husband behind and not returning. It's very, very frustrating. And even though you're relatives, how long would you want to stay at relative for?
A chartered flight for Barbados left Guyana in April, but Sargent was unable to go on the flight because the tickets were too expensive. The consulate for Barbados in Guyana is Captain Jerry Govaya. There are approximately 8 nationals from Barbados who are stranded in Guyana, but according to Captain Govaya, the authorities in Barbados are in contact with them. It is likely that they will only be able to return home when Guyana's international airports reopen to commercial flight later this year. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Isanella Patwo.
Now, ExxonMobil has come in for major criticisms over the flaring of excess gas offshore close to 6 months after production began. But the problem will not be fixed very soon, as the company still needs to bring in specialists to fix its compressor system, which encountered some issues last month. Bibi Katoon reports.
ExxonMobil's compressor system encountered some issues during a performance test last month as the company ramped up production. The repairs are delayed in order to observe travel restrictions, including quarantine of staff to protect offshore operations from the COVID-19 pandemic. Senior Director of Public Affairs, Vidra Mo, on Wednesday said the problem can take several weeks to fix.
There's some of our key specialist technicians that are required to repair the units, but also must first pass through travel restrictions and undergo this kind of 2-week screening process. I'm happy to say we do have one of our technicians, a specialist on board, and we have another person going through the screening process right now. And so that is progressing. And so, it could take a few more weeks, several weeks. And so that's why we want to make sure that we minimize our flaring as much as possible during this period of time.
Flaring is done to get rid of unwanted gas to relieve pressure in the wells, but it releases methane into the air, which not only contributes to global warming, but has a substantial impact on the environment and public health. The U.S. oil giant began to pump oil in December 2019 and was given approval to flare in the startup period until the gas compression and injection systems are fully commissioned to re-inject the gas, or systems are in place to bring it onshore. Most said this issue was unexpected, but the company has now agreed to cut production in order to reduce natural gas and, as a result, flaring.
As we work to resolve these issues, we have reduced the amount of gas being flared by cutting crude oil production at the Liza Destiny. While we always anticipate some issues when you're doing startup, you're commissioning a new system, new equipment. These particular issues were unexpected, and we're working very hard to get the equipment repaired as quickly as safely possible. Throughout the process, we've been in regular communication with the Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Energy to make sure that they're fully up to speed and aware of everything that's happening.
The company has agreed to reduce flaring to no more than 15 million cubic feet of natural gas per day. As a result, its production has also decreased to between 25,000 and 30,000 barrels of oil per day, pushing back the targeted production of 120,000 barrels of oil per day this month. Guyana was expected to receive its third 1 million barrel of oil in July, but with production cut, this timeline will be extended as it will take a longer period to reach the required amount. Guyana had its first lift in February and its second lift in the third week of May. Additionally, the company is completing the drilling of its development wells, as 2 of its drill ships, which were suspended following the implementation of the COVID-19 restrictions, are back in operation. The Stanakaran and the Noble Tom Madden started back operating recently, bringing the drilling operations back to full capacity on the Stabroek Block offshore Guyana. Bibi Katoon, Newsroom.
Meanwhile, the Guyana government received over $35 million for its second million barrels of oil sold to Shell Western Supply and Trading Limited, a decrease of over $4 billion Ghana dollars from the first shipment. The company selected to purchase Guyana's first 3 oil lifts, collected its second shipment on May 21. The Ministry of Finance, in a release on Thursday, said that the Natural Resources Fund was credited with the payment from the company. Director of the Energy Department, Dr. Mark Bino, told Newsroom in May that the revenue projected to come from Guyana's petroleum resources will be significantly lower given the fluctuating oil prices. The Natural Resources Fund is being kept at the New York Federal Reserve Bank. When the newsroom returns, the financial weather and Brit reports along with sport. Stay tuned.